See? All right. Welcome everybody back to Based Off Characters. This is Ray Goodfella, and I'm going to bring you a guest. And this guest has a long laundry list of things, projects, films, plays. I think he done spoken word. He might even play music. I don't really know. But one thing we do know is he is multi-talented. He's faith-driven, and he's a great interview and a great person that I can bring on to this show. So this is my intro for him, but I can't do the justice that he can do. So it is all on you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn Whitsell. I'm an actor, playwright, poet, a director, and everybody's friend, I guess.
Everybody's
That's what
friend.
people tell me. I'm everybody's friend.
I like that. I've never heard that before, but I really like that. You should patent that if it's not already. But well, I just want to get into a few things here. I've always been wanting to have some questions with you because I know in the Nashville community, you have been all around doing lots of things, from plays to I think short films. I think I remember something about the Casper or discovering something, but
Oh
I
yeah.
know it goes back a little bit of time there. Both, I think my wife knew a little bit about that as well. But I
Well,
want to ask you definitely some questions about you and the things that you have going on in the future. But let's just start with like what got you started into creating like putting on plays and also doing short films. So what got you started?
yeah. So plays, I think, is theater and the arts in general, something that was just near and dear to my heart, even as a kid. So I always wanted to be on stage. I always wanted to be entertaining people, making people laugh, making them smile, making them cry, just entertaining people. So I did that as a kid in school plays and in church. And it was just a natural desire for me. I don't really remember my life without
Mm,
being an artist.
mm.
So yeah, it's just something I've always done. And I felt like I had a natural knack for it. So I love writing as well. So as I got older, I started creating these characters that came out in the plays that I was writing. I was writing plays, little short plays as a kid, and I always wrote short stories and things of that nature. So it was like a natural progression to get into playwriting and to start, in addition to acting, but to start writing and directing.
Okay, perfect. So was there something in particular that kind of sparked a flame in you that you might have saw either on the stage or on TV that made you really want to do this?
Yeah, lots of things. I was inspired by anytime I got an opportunity to see people on stage was inspiring to me, and then watching movies and TV shows. I always just like watch, sitcoms and like, man, I wish I could do something like that. So I was always interested in the behind the scenes as well. So anytime I grew up just watching artist interviews all the time. So, and reading magazines where I could like find out how the artist got into the business, whether that be a musical artist or whether that be an actor. So I was always curious about an artist's journey and
Okay.
how they made it to where they are. But I'll tell you one particular time that really stands out. I was in the Upward Bound program back in Kentucky, and my final summer. Anybody unfamiliar with the Upward Bound program, but they place high school students on college campuses for an entire summer, and you
Hmm.
take classes that will, help you to develop as a student, but also um, it was all about increasing your likelihood of going to college. Most of the students were either, I think you had to be like someone who was like a first generation college student or, potentially.
Okay.
So, and neither one of my parents went to college. So that's how I qualified to be in it. But it's about creating this experience for high schoolers to increase their likelihood of going to college, which for me, I was going to college either way. But But they took us every summer. They would take us on a trip, and we went to Alabama. Went to Gulf Shores, and while we were there,
Mm,
we went and saw a play, professional theater, and we saw To Kill a Mockingbird. And
mm,
in very well staged, very well acted, etc. But there was this one moment in the courtroom, and this the black people in the black actors are on this platform because in that time the black people could not sit on the floor with the white people, right? So the black people
segregated. Mhm,
are, they're segregated, so they're on this platform, and then after Tom Robinson is pronounced guilty in the courtroom, they lead him off, and this spotlight goes up to that second platform, that second level, and this black man stands up and he sings, and he sings this gospel, this like very sad gospel song to capture the emotion of the moment.
mm,
And it was just so powerful that like the hairs on my arm stood up, right? I got chills.
mm,
And so I just remember that actor being, I don't know if he had any lines. If he did, maybe one or two, but that moment, that song was his moment. And he probably had the smallest lines, or he was like the smallest character quote in the play, but he had this beautiful, impactful moment.
mm.
And that was just for me a reminder of, yeah, I want to have moments like that on stage where I encourage and inspire or move a person in the audience the way I was moved. So I'll always remember that moment.
Oh, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. You kind of stole my thunder just a tad bit because I was going to ask you a little bit about that. But it's good because it leads into my next question here. But one thing about the To Kill a Mockingbird is it's a lifetime journey film. I mean, people who watched it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago still remember those scenes, and even going all the way back, I think it was set in Alabama. So those things really stick into the heart of the people who create films. And I feel like sometimes films like that are the origin stories for other films. And obviously that was sparked the real fire in you to create what you do. And I wanna start right there is so when you watch a film, and I'm thinking about the younger Shawn. All right, I want you to go back in here. And when you saw a certain scene, how do you really get like what you're going to do? Like, how do you piece? You don't want to take from a project, but you want to borrow a little bit to use on something that you write. So, how have you done that in your career? If you have, if you haven't, please let me know. But I know sometimes they always say certain things are taken. Everything has already been done. You just got to create your own way of doing it. So, how's that work for you?
Yeah, I don't necessarily I can't think of times where I've just seen something and like, oh, I want to do that. I think that I definitely am influenced by a lot of the great work that I've seen, and even some work that I've seen that's not great,
Mm.
because you learn from people's mistakes as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, but I know that I've told similar stories to stories that have been told before, but I do it my own way. I think that I just, because I've written a lot of family dramas for the stage, and
Yeah.
we've seen all types of family dramas on stage with plays like To Kill 'Em. I mean, plays like The Piano Lesson. August Wilson's The Piano Lesson, A
Mm,
Raisin in the Sun. Um, so we've seen those type plenty of family dramas on the stage as well as on the screen. But I try to bring my own spin to it. So I look at the things that I feel like what's the situation that we haven't seen? We've seen family dramas and we've seen these types of situations, but I try to think of something that hasn't been done before, or at least I haven't seen it. And I like to put spins and twists
mm.
and turns into my shows. So I like for an audience to be on the edge of their seat, waiting for the next thing to happen. So there's like a mystery that I infuse into my dramas a lot of times. And I just write what feels good, what feels organic and natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, speaking of that, so let's say, Sean, you got a new film project and you got a young lady or a young man. They want to audition for something that of yours. They see the character and they sit there and they kind of like, okay, I can see myself doing that. So they come to you online and say, hey, Sean, I want to audition for this character. What is your reply back to them about, yes, I'm going to accept them as the audition, but how should they prepare for one of your roles?
That is a great question. What is my reply back? So the reply is typically a welcoming in some way. So I get hit up all the time on social media. I get
Mm,
emails. I get a lot of messages on Facebook or Instagram. Sometimes people will call or text me. Happens all the time. Um, I have open arms when it comes to giving people opportunities because I believe in the transformative power of theater, and that's how we keep it alive by and make a difference in people's lives is by bringing people in. So I don't want it to be this like exclusive club that um, that is difficult to get in, and I don't want somebody to have a difficult time getting in because they don't have the experience. So what I do is I say, yeah, if you are serious and you want an opportunity, I can help you with that. So I usually say, um, come and audition for my next project, or hey, come in and sit in on a rehearsal. I don't have anything for you right away, but you can come and
hmm
be up in the environment. You can come and watch, see how you like it, or you can come help backstage or behind the scenes.
Okay.
So there's lots of ways that people can get involved. I may not have a role for you right away, but
hmm
if you stick around, I'll definitely get you on stage. And I usually I've written roles specifically for people who have approached me about that, because I believe in giving people opportunities. And um, yeah, so sometimes I run into people who have never been on stage and they want to try it, and we make it happen. We figure out how to make it happen. Sometimes people approach me and um, I never hear back from them, but that's just how it is. But
Okay.
we're able to, if someone is serious and they stay in touch with me, we'll make it happen.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Second thing here. I want to say this. This is going into 2024, and you may already have something in plans. I'm gonna have you talk about that. But let's just say you're sitting in your house right now, and you're thinking about the next film or the next play. How do you decide to pick this particular one to put into your, into your series of 2024 film? How do you decide that?
Um, I don't have a particular method. For me, I write a lot of my own stuff. So it's
Mhm.
really just about what's bubbling inside me at that particular time and what story I'm trying to tell. So I'll get hit with an idea, and then I start working on creating a script. And usually that's how it happens when it comes to doing other people's work. Because I don't do that as much, it just
Okay.
depends. Sometimes I see a play and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Like in 2002, I went and saw a Broadway play in New York, and which was Top Dog Underdog, which
hmm
had Most Def, now known as Yasiin Bey.
Yep.
Then also Jeffrey Wright, who was my favorite actor ever.
Jeffrey. I think I know. Did he played Martin Luther King one time?
Yeah, in a movie called Boycott back in about 2000 or whatever.
Yeah.
So he played the Dominican guy in Shaft, like the Samuel L. Jackson version of Shaft. He was on Breaking Bad. He was in um, a
hmm
lot. He's in a lot of movies, but he's just this chameleon. I love him because he just literally transforms before your eyes. Like you see him do just this wide range of of characters, which I love, and you believe him because he's so honest and sincere. And he has a movie coming out called American Fiction that I'm about to go check out at the Belcourt maybe tomorrow. But
Mm.
anyway, I saw him in Most Def on Broadway, and I was so interested in the play to begin with because there was just all this buzz around it.
Hmm.
So when I went and saw it, I was so blown away that I came away from that theater thinking, "Oh, I'm going to do one of these roles one day." And um, I decided that I was going to produce it, and so I did. Like it was 5 years later that I got around to producing it, but I did. So like sometimes when I see pieces done in other cities, um, I jump on it, bring it to Nashville if I like it. So it really
Okay.
just depends.
Okay. Cool. I like the answer. I never really thought about Most Def really acting like that, but I have seen him, and I respect his ability. I really do. I respect him as an artist, and definitely now, portraying characters. So I like him. I like that one.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job in that role. I've seen him, he's been in some TV show, film stuff, but I loved him on stage.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Cool. Got another one. This is about festivals. First thing before I ask that, have you ever been to a film festival?
absolutely. I've been to a film festival. I've had some of my projects in film festivals. So yeah, I love them.
Okay. So, all right, what advice would you give a young um, writer slash producer director into getting into a film festival? And let's say they want to get into the Nashville Film Festival here locally. Compare that to going outside of Nashville. So the difference between Nashville and going somewhere like not well, maybe Sundance, maybe some of the other places. So can you give a young person what they should expect if they go to Nashville compared to somewhere else?
Well, I would say Nashville Film Festival has like I think they have like a category or something like that that is particular to Tennessee filmmakers. So I
Hmm.
think appealing to creating something that was maybe shot in Nashville or that has like a Tennessee um um a Tennessee backdrop or story or something like that might help.
Okay.
Um yeah, so um I feel like my experience at film festivals at the Nashville Film Festival has been very similar to my experience at other film festivals. The only thing is, it's like some film festivals are super exclusive. So
Mm.
um, they might be showing like there's a film festival in Miami. I don't want to say it wrong, so I won't say the name of it, but they only show like 5 films, and there's workshops and other things that happen and events that happen around it, but they only show like 5 films. But like at the
Wow.
Nashville Film Festival um, and some of the other ones, you can see a variety of films. It's not so exclusive, right? And so, my advice to anybody who's creating a film to like think about telling a good story. And I think even Sundance, I remember watching an interview, somebody from Sundance, and they were talking about how they looked at how well the story was told, like writing a good story, because quality is important, but quality is not the be all end all. Of course, you don't want anything that looks, horrible, but
Hmm. Okay.
a lot of times, if you're telling a good story, then because so many people might have something that's high quality, but the content isn't great because the writing may not be great. So tell a good story, and I think that sets you apart from everybody else who's entering film festivals. And you just have to enter your film in a bunch of festivals, which can get costly, but it's worth it because I did that with a short film that I wrote. I just sent it out everywhere, like
Hmm.
paid the fees, sent it out everywhere because I wanted it to be seen. And so it
Okay.
got into some festivals, and then some festivals it didn't get into. And that's just kind of the nature of it.
Okay. So it's really about, like you said, is it more so, in your opinion, story over character? or is it because you kind of said Sundance looking for the story. They want an appealing story. But sometimes, and this is from my experience, I do agree with the great story, but some of them just have this weird character that really just, or just an interesting character that just catches the eyes of the selection committee. So I want you to talk about. Actually, I want you to answer this one here. Character, like this is based off characters here, and I wanted this is an interview platform, but I want you to tell me about how do people get really into characters, like like they audition for you and they got a role and they just really want to get to that character. Can you give me advice on how they need to really get into the character that they're getting ready to portray?
Yeah, so in auditions are one thing, and then when someone hits the stage is another, because when somebody hits the stage, they've been through a rehearsal process. And so
Mm,
they've had time to work with the director, which is typically me or whoever the director may be. And they've had time to like go over the script and discover things about the person that they might not have known, about the character that they might not have known at an audition. And so everybody has their own process when it comes to getting into character. But what I would say, I like for people, even in auditions, to see how people give themselves over to the character, meaning like getting rid of inhibitions and understanding that you're not yourself in this moment, but you are somebody else. And the people who are willing to just let
yeah,
go and be free.
yeah, yeah.
And sometimes you're playing characters who do things that you wouldn't do in your personal life, right? And acting is about choices. Like you're choosing the type of plays you want to, or movies that you want to do. You're choosing the type of characters you want to play, and once you get those characters, you're making choices about how you want to play those characters. So I look for people who are allowing themselves to be free to make choices. And sometimes you find out, oh, that was a bad choice, and
Okay.
I don't want to. That's not the right way to go, and that's great. That's how you discover. And people who are free to do that is what I'm typically looking for. But everybody's not there, so I try to help people along the way. That when we're rehearsing, that they get to the point where they're fully engulfed into this character. They know who the character is. They know what the character does, what the character believes, how the character walks and talks and stands. And yeah, it's my job as their director to help them get to that place. But everybody has their own process, and everybody's typically in a different place when they come to the auditions. But um, as a director, I have to make the best choices when I'm selecting a cast, and I have to trust those actors to be able to get to the point where we need them to be.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. It actually brings up another question for me: is besides yourself, and this is for the people who want to direct. Besides yourself, who is somebody that a young director needs to, or you would advise them to pay attention to, and maybe find stuff about them online, like on YouTube, they can learn from.
Oh man, I would say Spike Lee. I
Okay.
would say I would say I would say I would say Spike Lee. I mean, I can name a lot of directors, but I will say Spike Lee because
Mm-hmm.
he is someone that has he's someone that did it himself, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
someone that like even when he was doing Malcolm X and he ran out of funding, and he had to make it happen by any means necessary. So he called a lot of his celebrity friends and got money to make it happen. So he has that story. Um, Even before he got to Malcolm X, like his first film, She's Gotta Have It, how he went about making that. And so, and I like Spike Lee because he has his own voice. He has his narrative. He has his, when I say voice, I mean like his own style. And when you see a Spike Lee film, you know it's a Spike Lee film. And I think he's been daring and he's taken some chances. I have watched some of his films and I'm like, I didn't quite understand that. I'm not going to act like every Spike Lee film is my favorite, but definitely those earlier works like School Days, Do the Right Thing, um, Mo Better Blues. I love Mo Better Blues. Those are movies that I thought were very well done.
I, okay. So
You're
here's
not
the
a Spike
thing.
Lee fan?
No, 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 no. I'm not gonna say that. I'm a Spike Lee fan because I like the way he created something. Because I remember he had a documentary and he said he borrowed someone's, I think, Super 8 camera and just kind of filmed around New York.
Around New York, yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that about Spike Lee. Some of the films, I kind of like you. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but some of them I absolutely love.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big School Day person. I liked it, it was okay, but I like some of the other ones, like you said. I think he did. Did he do? Did Do the Right Thing, but it was another film. Of course, Malcolm X, but it was another film and I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me in a second. But I'm gonna tell you about what I don't like about Spike. I don't
Okay.
think he does enough now where we need it. We need our producers to do more, the directors to do more, because now they're starting to go into I just want to do stuff to make money, and the films are not as good. And I feel like we need people like him now producing stuff where you got Netflix and you got all the streaming lines. And I feel like he's just kind of disappeared. I feel like Ava has kind of disappeared. I don't like her aesthetic. Uh,
Yeah, I was just about to name her next. Yeah.
go talk about Ava. Let's talk about Ava. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but she was somebody that came to mind. I love the beauty in her films. I
Mm,
watched her go from like her first film, which was I Will Follow, and
yes.
to where
Oh my
she is now. And I just love the cinematography in her films. I love the beauty in them. I love how I feel like she takes great care of her projects. I got an opportunity to talk to her a couple times, and she's someone that is super duper inspiring to me because um, she knows what she wants. I loved she created Queen Sugar, which is a series that I
my
love, fell in love
God.
with. Yeah. And so I just love and I love her mission. I love that she has this mission to give indie filmmakers a platform. Um, I love that she is very intentional about hiring women. I think all the episodes of Queen Sugar were directed by women, so that's super important. She's making a difference, and I love
Mm,
that. But just her as a filmmaker and as a writer, she's dope.
okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just, I'm glad you said that because I watched, her first film and the simplicity into creating a great story, like it was there between her and I was at a phase because I write too, and I was at a phase where Ava and Barry Jenkins, the simplicity in both of their first films, Ava, and I just could not figure out who was better, and I was literally like, the thing why I decided myself tell myself is, it doesn't matter who's better. It matters that they're putting out and producing good projects.
Yep.
And I know we've gone through some interesting times here, and it looks like hopefully we're starting to come back and creating really good projects, which I'm waiting for. But the reason why I wanted you here, I wanted you to talk about filmmakers like Spike, Ava, Barry.
Hey,
Um,
hold on for me 1 second, man.
okay, okay.
I'm sorry to be.
No, you're good. We just keep going here. It's just that I'm gonna keep talking while you're doing your thing, but I just think that the films now, I don't want us to lose the momentum that we gain with our black filmmakers, with our black actors. And it's not just about black, but it's about like I feel like we have a really good era of filmmakers, and I think that we just got to figure out a way to keep that going because if we don't keep that going,
have a I'm always jam packed with projects, whether I'm working on my own or working on somebody else's stuff. Definitely in 2024. I started out in January with a show it's a one man show called Black and Blue Boys slash Broken Men, which is not a piece that I wrote, but I play six different characters, and so
Oh,
these are all male characters of different ages, different races, who have a story of some sort of trauma or abuse. So that's a deep dive into some heavy subject matter that I'm working on right now. Then I go into Thoughts of a Colored Man, which was on Broadway, one of the first
mm,
shows to come on Broadway after the pandemic.
okay.
So I play a character by the name of Passion in that. Then some other projects, but always back to back stuff. Some stuff I don't know what's going to happen yet. I haven't decided what my season is going to be in terms of my theater company and the stuff that I'm writing. But also, just I want to do some more film stuff. I haven't really done any film projects in a few years, so I'm looking to get back into that, get back on screen, and then create some work for some other actors as well as a screenwriter. So maybe a couple of short films. I know I have a web series that I was a part of called The Rules of Messing Around, and that's going to make a
Yeah.
comeback.
Oh, that's coming back. I remember that. I
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah,
I knew a few people that was actually in that particular project, so it's kind of bittersweet to see that coming back here. I like that one. It's kind of
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Um, but speaking of that, well, some of your projects, you did a project. I think it was maybe about a month or two ago. I missed it, but it was a young lady. I think the lady was from Atlanta, and didn't they come? Like I think I went to Huntsville. I think he came here. Didn't it travel? Were you involved in that particular project at the at the Dark Horse Theater, or
What project?
I feel like I may be wrong, but I feel like her name was Mary.
Okay, Mary McCallum.
Yes,
She has a project called 6888. You talking
yes,
about the women soldiers, the women
yeah,
battalion? I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So we just did that in Orlando. We've done it in other cities before: New York,
Hmm.
Atlanta, Huntsville, L.A.,
Yep.
and
Oh, okay.
so we just went to Orlando and did it there. Where um, we worked with Takia Crystal Kimon from In Living Color. She was in the show
Really?
with us
Okay.
when we were in Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, So, is there any way that we can see that project or know more about it? Was it ever filmed or?
Yeah, we filmed it while we were in Orlando, actually, and it's been filmed, I think, a couple of other times. I don't think that's been made for public consumption yet, but you can always go to sisterstyleproductions.com and learn more about that play. And we always pick it up and dust it off and do it again. So it may be
Okay.
in Nashville sometime soon. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. Cool. Cool. We got Black History coming up in the early 2024. You got any projects going on there? Is that around that time?
Yeah, I have a week that I'm going to be at the Dark Horse Theater, and there's going to be a series of events. I work with a nonprofit called Southern Word, and each year we do the Black Lift Music and Poetry Festival. So that week, I know that I'm going to do a like an open mic event. I'm trying to figure out what the theater event is going to be, if there's going to be a theater component. So I'm like exploring the idea of like other things to bring to it. But there's typically an open mic, and then we do one for teens that's going to be at the downtown library that
Hmm.
week, and then I do typically an interview with somebody in the community, kind of what we're doing right now,
Okay.
interviewing somebody about the work that they're doing. Yeah, so I'm still building that up, but that's going to be at the end of February into the first week of March at the Dark Horse.
Very cool. Very cool. So I got a thing that I usually do with my guests, and it's kind of a rapid fire thing. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, if you had to pick one movie that you've seen before to watch tomorrow night, what would that be?
A movie called Have Plenty. That came out in 1997. It's this very independent, um, yes, independent film that I
Okay.
loved it for its simplicity and its flaws.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay. So if you had to pick one film that you want to watch on Saturday night that you want to laugh, what would that be?
Saturday night that I what?
If that you want to laugh, like you want to just have a good laugh. If you had to pick a movie, what would that be?
A good laugh. Um, oh man, I was just thinking of this movie, something funny. What was this movie that I was just thinking about? I don't know, but I'm gonna say Kingdom Come off the top of my head because of Loretta Devine. She is hilarious.
I know that
She is
movie. Yeah.
hilarious in this movie, man. So,
Okay.
I when the movie first came out, I wasn't like a big fan of it, and then Rashad Rayford, Rashad, aka Rashad the Poet, we were
What you
roommates at the time, years and years ago, and he was like, "Man, that movie's funny." So I gave it a chance, and I love it because of Loretta Devine. She is hilarious in that movie, so I wouldn't mind seeing her performance.
Okay, perfect. I know Rashard, Alabama A&M. All right. All
Hmm.
right. So yeah. Okay. I got another one for you. If you had to write a film for an actor that has passed away and you got this opportunity to do this, who would you want?
An actor who has passed away. I'm gonna go with Ethan Hawke. Not Ethan Hawke. Yeah,
Oh, what?
not Ethan Hawke. He's still alive. Um,
Okay, okay.
what? What's the dude's name? Heath Ledger,
Heath Ledger. Oh, he played
the Joker.
Joker. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
I can feel
Um,
that.
he's just again a very committed actor.
Mhm.
And he's one of those people that I feel like can do anything. Just like I just mentioned Jeffrey Wright, who is my favorite actor. I saw he and like deliver a masterful performance as the Joker. And not to say I've seen all of his movies, but anything that I've seen him in, I just thought that he was so deeply committed. And that's the type of actor that I want to act alongside of. That's the type of actor that I would want to direct or write for.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
So
Ethan Hawke, you're still alive.
yeah, I started thinking. I'm like, man, I didn't know he passed. I used to keep up with that stuff.
I know I'm on here killing
Mm.
people.
Right, right. But yeah. Well, I'm not gonna put you on the spot with those questions about an actor right now. I'm gonna ask you something about a backdrop. So besides Nashville, if you had the money, the funding, or whatever, go anywhere in the world to shoot a film, where would it be?
Ooh, if I could go anywhere in the world, I definitely would not pick anything in the U.S. because, if we
Mhm.
open it up to the world, I'm getting out of the U.S. I would probably say Africa because
Mm,
I haven't been to the continent yet. So that would be an excuse for me to go. Um, Not that I need an excuse. I'm trying to get there soon, but I'd probably shoot something in Africa to capture the spirit of the people and the beauty of the land. And yeah, I think that would be it.
okay. Okay. All right. So next thing would be funding. If you get the funding, would you rather shoot a feature film or shoot a miniseries, like about six
Mm.
episodes?
Mm.
I know what mine would be.
Man, that's a good one. I think I would shoot a film. I think I would shoot a film.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Hmm.
I think so.
You think so? Well,
I
I
think
want to give
so.
okay, okay, because I
Tell
got
me.
my opinion
So
on this.
you would shoot a series?
Well, based off of 2023, not of all time, yeah, but I would shoot a series because it looks like this is where we're going. The binge watching 1 hour specials to gain the interest of fans at home more so than the feature film now because you got streaming going on, you got YouTube channels going on. It looks like the viewership is higher on streaming platforms and instead of going to actually the feature films. Because I've seen feature films now, I've never seen this before. It will be in a theater for a week or two, maybe even less than a week, and it will right on a streaming network. I was surprised and I can't remember the film. I was surprised how quick it got to a streaming network. And everybody got networks now. And I think I would do that to get my notoriety to go through your feature film and get the big money because that's just what I feel. I mean, tell me what do you think about that?
Yeah, I totally get that. I think that it just depends on because like even films are going to eventually make it to streaming networks, and so I feel like if you do a film, you can have the best of both worlds if it opens in theaters
Mm,
and you can have that theater run even if it's short. For the people who still like going to films, like of course I love watching stuff at home, but I'm so much of a social person and love the experience of being in a film in a theater. So I still go. I just went and watched The Color Purple. I before that I went and saw Beyonce's concert film. I love being in the theater. And so I think I would have the experience of my film on the big screen, and then once it's done there, have its way on the streaming platforms. But I want to create art that makes its way into the heart of the people, and the people always remember it. Like those films, whether they watch it on as a series or as a 2 hour film, I just want to make something that people remember, and that brings nostalgia. I just watched half of The Preacher's Wife last night, and I loved it because it brought back so many memories. I hadn't watched it in probably 20 plus years, but there was because it's been so long, I hadn't there was parts that I forgot about. And so I just had a it was just like and then seeing Whitney on the screen. So it just took me back to when it came out in 96. You know, it was like a time capsule. So
mm-hmm.
I want to
I
create
like
work that gives people that feeling.
I like that. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Here's a tricky question, and I asked a guest this before, and I want to know your answer. Here we go. Which actor is overrated in your eyes?
You're not gonna give me the answer that.
Why not?
What if I have to
Why
work
not?
with this person one day? I don't know who's overrated. Um, Let me see if I can think of anybody.
It's not an insult. It's just if you want to pass, you can pass. I'm gonna give my answer
I don't.
again.
You you know what? I never really think of people in that way. I definitely have thought like when it came to awards that like oh man this person pulled off this other actor pulled off a better performance. I don't see how this person was got the award, but I never think about actors being overrated.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if I and
All
I'm
right.
not really just saying that to stay safe, but I've just never thought about that honestly.
Yeah,
You got somebody?
yeah.
Give
I
me
do.
somebody. You want to
Tracy
share it?
Ellis Ross. Tracy Ellis Ross.
You think she's overrated?
Yep. I
I think
mean,
she's good at what.
I think she's okay. I think they give her again. I have a history with her.
Okay.
I may talk to you off screen, but it's nothing special, unique about her. And Girlfriends, I think was cool, but I think all the other ladies on there were a lot better. I know she got a good name, about herself, but I can't see her. like feature actor lead on the on the poster board with her leading a role in a
Hmm.
film. I just can't see that. I see Regina King. Regina King's awesome. I can't
Yeah.
see her because there's nothing about her that's really special. I wasn't the biggest fan of Blackish. I thought it was cool, but it wasn't. I don't know what it is, and I know she. I made her one day again. She probably gonna kill me. I just, I just don't, and I don't really have very many people. It's just that it's just something about. I think her acting style is
Hmm.
not for me. That I just can't really grasp. And I pay
Yeah.
attention to everybody. You getting in the character, you getting the emotions, you know your lines. You don't seem like you're reading and you're like a script baby. I call them script babies. They take the lines, you just read the script and just really like, okay, I want to make sure I get everything right. Like I gotta get to no, you need to be the character. I don't feel like I got that from her. And again, I hadn't really studied her as much as I had before. Maybe she's gotten better. I just can't see her being a lead, and
Yeah.
she gets the prompts of being a lead in my eyes.
Yeah. I think Tracy Ellis Ross has um like I never really thought about her in that way, in a critical way. I just like have accepted the work that she's done and Girlfriends and Blackish and other things that I've seen her on. I'd be interested to see her do like something dramatic, like intensely
Yeah,
dramatic, like because like we know Marlon Wayans as a comedian, but he's a really dope dramatic actor to me. So
mm,
like I love to see think about all the comedians or comedic actors um who have taken on like very have taken on strong dramatic roles, and then the performances they turn in. A lot of times they turn in some incredible performances because they're flipping it, and I think they're using what they've learned in comedy to bring to these dramas. So I would love to see Tracy Ellis. I like her. I would love to see her do something different because she probably hasn't done anything, or we haven't seen her a lot in anything out of the like kind of out of what we know her for. I guess not to say
right.
she
She's
hasn't
kind of
done it, but like she's more famous for the Girlfriends and Blackish.
yeah, because she's in. I feel like you get put into a box as being an artist sometimes, and I'm gonna give you another one. Okay. I'm not making this about you. I want you to hear a response. I'm gonna give you Taraji P Henson before after Baby Boy. She she was in that same box, but then I saw her in other roles. She was on Person of Interest I love. Then she started getting other lead roles. So she's completely out. She's awesome to me because she's not into that box. And that's gonna lead into my next question, I think. But she was one that I feel like that got out of it because I was like, if she keep on doing baby boys, she's not gonna blow up. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be she's gonna be cool, but she's not gonna be a lead. But I feel like she can be a lead and she's been a lead. Let me take that back. She's been a lead. So that's why I think Trace Ellis Ross hasn't had that role, but Taraji has had those roles, and
Yeah,
that's
Taraji, like her role in Hustle and Flow was, she was just she was layered. She had this very deep vulnerability in that role, that she brought to it, and that could have been played. I thought that could have been played surface level by a lesser actor, but she really captured the spirit of that character. Her role in Benjamin Button is incredible. I thought she was dope in that. But yeah, I think Taraji's dope. But she could have, if she was, um, she could have found herself in those like baby boy type roles, but she didn't allow herself to be pigeonholed to that, which I think is great. And it says a lot about her chops because she could do those other roles, and so she wasn't pigeonholed. Because you do see people spending their whole career doing the same type of role, which is fine if it pays your bills, but it may not be as gratifying to just repeat a role over and over again.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got another big question here, and it's about musicians.
Okay.
Oh man, I I'm gonna forget it. All right. So musicians, do they are they starting to make good actors? Why do you think they're starting to make good actors? Because I've seen a lot of musicians from, I mean, especially rappers, singers, for the last 20 years plus have been really good at acting. So why do you think that is?
Maybe because I'm not really sure. So one thing is they're already used to being performing in front of people. So and they're used to the camera from videos. They're used to live performance. So that could play a role. It could also play a role that if like they're already playing a certain type of role in their artistry, like as artists, maybe they have um, pick like an identity that they are like feeding into for their music, and so that would be some form of acting. Um, they're already creative people, so I think with that all those things lend themselves to be uh, being a better actor. Not all of them are great actors, but
Yeah. Okay.
you have your like your Will Smiths, um, who's an incredible actor. You have Queen Latifah. Yeah, and those are people who are hard workers too, and we've
Hmm.
got to see them grow into that. Like if you look at Will's first season of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, he was mimicking lines from his other from his castmates. He was like mouthing their lines. Um, Queen Latifah had something when she started, but of course, as you get more experience, you get better and better. So I think the incredible hard work they put into their craft helped make them who they are today.
I like that. I like that. And I'm gonna bring Tracy back into this again. But I see when you're a musician, you already the lead. So you already take the leadership role in you performing what you're performing for your own song. And I feel like if she gets this message, if, if she ever sees this or talks to her, I would say I would really focus her career, like try to find a lead role. And it's can't be like Blackish. It really needs to be something that gets you out of the box. So this is my next one of my last questions for you is how do you come up as an actor? So just say for yourself that you're getting a going to give advice for somebody to say they want to really become a lead actor and they really want to do this. What advice would you give them on how to really start that, that train, put that train in motion in their career?
I would say study the craft. That's the most important thing you can do. Is be ready. Train yourself. However that training looks, whether that be, you know, um, going to school for theater or film, whether that be to just participate in workshops or getting into an acting class, but doing community theater, whatever it takes to get there is to train. That's the most important thing because opportunities can come to you in a lot of different ways, but you got to be ready. You know, Networking is extremely important. So, but you network as you put yourself into these environments, as you're doing plays and as you're going to classes and as you're going to industry events or whatever, you're going to be networking, but active networking, getting to know people, and meeting people um, who have the power to give you an opportunity. You got to be ready. So that's where that training comes in, to where when you get these opportunities, you can go in there and knock it out the park. And I also say, don't be afraid to create your own projects too.
Hmm.
I have done, I've been a part of a lot of people's projects in some capacity, but I also give myself and my peers a platform through as a, so and as a writer,
Okay.
afraid to my path is about not just auditioning for other people's stuff, but like really creating a platform for myself. So yeah, those are the three things that I would say.
Okay. All right. So this is my last question here. I'm gonna try to make this the best one I can. What's the future look like for you, Shawn Whitsell, and your group, your projects? What's the future look like for you all? What I guess if you can idealistically say, I want to have a great 2024, what does your future look like for you that you would want for 2024?
2024 is going to be my year of intentionality, and
Mm,
I've already begun being more intentional about being intentional, if that makes any
okay.
sense. But
Yeah.
intentionality and really honing in on the particulars of the things that I want to see happen in my career and my life in general. So I want to tour my one man show. It's called 23-1. It takes place and it's a reference to the 23 hours that someone can legally be put in solitary confinement versus the 1 hour that they have of rec time. And so the piece is
Yeah.
a piece I wrote in 2019, and it takes place in a cell. So I want to tour that, particularly colleges. Um, I
I
want
like
to definitely be a part of more film projects this year, and just continue to do the theater that I typically do here in Nashville, but also branch out, and maybe do some TV appearances and commercials. So that's what I would love to see happen from me
okay.
personally.
Well, I like that. I like that. So I want you to shout out some of your people to follow, some of the people that you work with around the Nashville community. It could be outside. This is your opportunity to definitely put them on Front Street, as I call it, or I say just shout them out. So give us a few people that you want to give recognition to.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to say shout out to Sister Style Productions, run by Mary McCallum. Look them up, follow them on the socials. Also, Verge Theater Company, which is run by my friend Alicia Hamer. So look up Verge,
Oh,
give them a
okay.
follow. My company is the Destiny Theater Experience. You can follow us on Instagram. Yeah, those are just those three companies. Oh, and Dream 7 Theater Productions, local too. Um, they are just like all those companies are like run by people that I am in community with and who are like a part of my family in some way, my theater family as well as my personal family. And yeah, I'll do great work. And yeah, check those people out and support the arts in general.
Okay, I love it. I love it. All right, so I'm gonna shout out a couple things to the young folks here. Stay out the way, stay out of trouble, produce your own stuff. You know, you can got a phone, you got a camera. That means you can produce your own stuff. Make sure it's something that you really love. Make sure it's something that people will love, that people will like to see you do again. So the first time you do it, try to envision your next step and then your next step. So you can end up being like Shawn one day and producing your own stuff for years and years to come. Where you got people like Shawn, he's getting blown up on Insta. I heard you say that people hit you up all the time about trying to jump on your projects. But this is just for my message for young people. Definitely try to do it. You have the means now. You have, the YouTube that you can watch all the producers. You can find out how they do it. You can go viral for a short film, for like make a film for like literally on your camera phone and spend no money. You can do things. So the message for young people, definitely try to do as much as you can. Everybody's not going to love what you do, but make sure you love it and make sure you put your love into it. And it's going to produce some good things. It's going to eventually pay off in the future. So that's my message to the young people and all the people that are around that are loving our young people. Make sure you try to protect them, protect your kids. So that's my message for the young people. So last thing here. Um, I'm gonna end with this. I was gonna start early with this, but give me a fun fact about about Shawn that no one else knows.
Fun fact about me that no one else knows. Fun fact. Um, I don't know if a few people know this, but I have a itch to do stand up comedy. Um,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have a desire to be a comedian and have a career at that, but I do a lot of hosting and emceeing. So and I make people laugh while I'm hosting. So I think that I could do stand up. I've done it before. I just told one time I got called out on the spot. I was really there just to watch, and I got caught up on stage, and I told a funny story. I got some laughs. So I think I would like to try that in a more legitimate um, way someday. Maybe once or twice. Again, I'm not interested in being a comedian, but I want to have that experience of doing stand up. Just a few minutes.
I like that. Shoot,
Yeah.
I mean, that itch, you got the itch. At least try it one time to see how it works. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I like trying stuff. And you might I've always been this way since I was a kid. It's like you might try something and be good at it and take on that thing, and you might decide, oh well, this is not what I expected or not what I wanted. But I'm glad I got an opportunity to at least try it. So I encourage people to just don't not be afraid of trying new things and taking risks.
Right. Okay. Well, man, I appreciate you. I like the answer about the comedian. I love all the details that you gave about, producing, the people to follow and watch and be inspired by Spike Lee and Ava DuVernay, people like that. And I just want people. The reason why I created this platform is about interviews, but it's about deciphering out the gems of the interview. You can sit there and watch a whole interview, but it may be like 10 minutes that might change your life. So I
Yeah,
would like, definitely from you and your insight, someone here watching this can be definitely inspired and say, you know what? I want to produce my own short film. If this man did it and I think I can do it. So let me get my equipment, whatever I got, and just try to produce and write something and see how it goes. So that's
yeah,
that's what I want people to get from this here. I don't want people just to be entertained. I want you to gain value from, me interviewing people, no matter who it is,
yeah,
no matter what they do, as long as they're doing the right thing for the right reasons. That's what I want this particular channel to do for anybody wanting to do something different in their life. So again, thank you,
absolutely.
Shawn, for joining me. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
doing
having me.
this here. Forget about technical
Thank you for
difficulties.
having
Nobody cares about that. I care about
me.
the message, the message
Yeah,
that you deliver, what you've told me about what you want to do, what you already have done, and what you want to do for the future. That's important. I love that.
thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
having me.
No problem here. And here I'm going to sign off here. I appreciate Shawn Whitsell for definitely coming on. Definitely follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Facebook. Well, first thing, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I don't use it much, but I'm on there. I got something.
Oh, all right. Well, he got a
Yeah,
YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. Google him, find out more about him, and definitely take this interview and find the things that you can you use for your own self. And I just appreciate him so much. And like I say, I always end with this here. I thank everybody. I appreciate everybody. And you just live the best life that you can live because your time is valuable and the information is also more valuable. So you want to make sure you feed yourself with the right information so you can produce for the future. And I just want to say thank you again, Shawn. And until I speak to you all again, Peace, everybody.
Peace.